So essentially, we are Monet. So Monet Networks, it should come in any time. What we do is we are a platform to capture human emotions at scale. So what does that mean? So today, when brands want to connect with their audience, they're looking for different signals as to how their messages are connecting. We are collecting those signals to a new level. So basically to a new dimension. What we do is we push content out to audiences of different kinds, and we observe how they are reacting in real time and tag those reactions so that we can basically figure out where in the content, where in the message there are emotional peaks. And then we can leverage that to create better content in future. That's what we are doing. So I think he already gave, the moderator already gave my introduction. So my passion for doing this comes from because I have spent about 20 to 25 years building products and solutions where I can use signal processing and communications, which is basically the essential building blocks for any communications that we do over wireline or wireless networks. So one of the companies I did was in voice over IP space in late 90s. This was when the transition was happening from circuit switch to packet switch network. So we built that company from scratch, sold it to Intel. We got lucky, but we built good products. And after that, I got involved in mobile products where we're making technologies for power reduction of displays. Then a few years back, I got intrigued by the changes that were happening in our lives. So for example, the devices we carry in our pockets, the smartphones are so powerful, the sensors out there are so powerful that the cameras are much better than even any camera you bought, point-and-shoot camera you bought even 3 years back. So, and also auditory captures, location. So these kinds of things can get you a lot more information about what's happening, how we are interacting with these devices. So the epiphany I had was that what if we as individuals, as we interact with these devices, which are always present with us, as we use them to communicate with each other or to consume content, if we can take some feedback from them as we are interacting with them. So what would happen is, basically there'll be two dimensions of intelligence created. The first dimension is how that particular context, so imagine you watching a YouTube video, and if I'm able to see where you laughed or where you're disengaged, and I'm also able to see where thousands of other people did the same thing for the same content, then I'm creating value for the content, how that content is being measured. So that's one of the things which a lot of brands are struggling with today. And so this is the opportunity that we are going after. So there are some statistics here. The main point here being that we are seeing disruption happening in the way content is consumed. So I have two little kids, twin daughters, 10.5-year-old. And it's not that they don't watch TV, but I have never seen them in front of TV for the last 4 or 5 years. In fact, they're not used to, they're so used to watching content when they want that fast forward is something that irritates them. And this is probably true for all of your kids or who have like 5 to 15-year-old kids. They haven't seen the concept of not live TV because they're still consuming a lot of content. And the thing is that brands are realizing this. So short form video content is where eventually you will engage each person, whether we are young or even in the demography that I fall, that's where brands are going after. And how do you measure what engagement means? So today, engagement is still meaning the YouTube basically the views in YouTube or the likes in the YouTube, but soon enough, people are migrating to answering that why did that funny cat video went viral? So answering the why is becoming very important, and brands are realizing this. So here is, so the problem remains. So this is a problem which everybody struggles with, and that's what the market research firms are also struggling with. So the idea is that market researchers are answering questions that whether this message will work or not. And at the end of the day, brands are going to content creators directly to say that create this content for us, and we will basically, we want this content to be connected with as large an audience as possible in the most effective way. So to answer those questions, the measurement methods that we are using, so the likes and the views and all that, needs to be taken down to a science as to what's happening within a granular fashion within the content. So here is an example of a study that we did with Nissan. So we did this study working with our partner, Morepace, which is one of the premier market research firms in Detroit. So we have been working with Morepace for roughly a year. And so one of the segments they work with is automotive. So Nissan came to Morepace and us. So the problem they had was they were releasing a new ad for one of their new vehicles called Nissan Rogue, which is a crossover SUV. And the challenge for us was to pick the winning ad. So they gave us 2 animatics, which is the rough cuts of the video. And the challenge was, how do you measure which one they should pick? And not only did we pick the right ad, which was basically this, they had done 3 weeks of research using traditional ways, we were able to do it within 1 to 2 days in setting up and running it through 300 people and then figuring out where in the content were emotional peaks and valleys. And we came out with insights which were quite revealing. So for this particular ad, there was a place where male and female were actually racing. And eventually, females, the lady ends up winning. So we observed that the male reaction actually went down and the female reaction went up. So things like that, explaining the why within a content in a granular fashion is becoming very important. And that's what a platform like Monet helps to answer. So we are starting in answering about quick analytics about a content, but we are going much more beyond that. So in a sense, what we are is a platform to capture nonverbal cues at scale. And what we do is we enable brands to create optimal content, target the right audience. So if you're going to millennials, can you feel the pulse of the millennial in a fashion which we can really trust, and also maximize the advertising ROI dollar? So coming back to the example, the great Super Bowl dilemma that CMOs have. So for 30 seconds of ad, the last Super Bowl, the brand spent about $5 million. And what if that ad bombed? What if it didn't connect with the audience? If you're able to gain more confidence with quantitative metrics as to that ad will really work, then that will, there's no money attached to that kind of analytics if you can deliver that. So giving you sort of a quick overview, because I've been doing this 5 to 10 minutes pitches, so 15 minutes was a very long time. So I have a luxury of showing you the video, and the video is not playing. So anyway, so let's skip the video. So essentially, what's happening here? Okay, so essentially what our technology does is we are a cloud-based analytics platform. So all our algorithms run in the cloud. On the user side, what we do is we enable brands to push content out to the audiences of their choice. So we'll provide you with a dashboard where you can pick your panels, and then through that, the message will be pushed out to the demography, either on your device, in any device of their choice, be it a computer or a smartphone. And with a front-facing camera, we'll watch the people watch the ad. And as soon as they watch it, we'll give them some notification of what happened in that interaction. And one of the notification is that the people are getting rewarded. So we have reward integration right built into it. We also tell them how they felt versus how their peers felt. So some gamification is also inbuilt there. The other important thing is that in real time, as soon as the data collection stops, we're able to deliver the kind of analytics I talked about earlier, like within a granular fashion, how is the content connecting with different demography. Under the hood, what we are doing is, that's where some of our real IP lies, where we can actually look at individual level, how is the individual contextual reaction happening? So if you look at that, how I react will be very different from what any of you will react. So each one has a different liking for the kind of content they get more emotive about. If I'm able to say that this lady who's more passionate about fashion, she reacts very emotively about that fashion-centric channels, and if I react very passionately about some cause I'm very passionate about, so over a period of time, I'll build my profile of how my reactions are happening, both facial cues as well as voice intonations and other things if I'm capturing that. If I'm able to leverage that, that will open up a lot of different methods of utilizing how we can go about using this platform. So again, to summarize, what we do is we have a simple platform which will enable you to choose your panels and push the content out in any device of your choice. We'll capture the interaction of the users watching the content, and in real time, we'll deliver analytics to the brand who can then make quick decisions about either creating better content or figuring out whether this content is working for a demography or not. So these are some of the visuals in the video. Unfortunately, it didn't run, but I would have shown you how it works through. But please come by to our booth. We are right in the second room inside where you can get some coffee and an ice cream. And then this is the visual of how our rewards look like. And finally, this is another use case. So one of the other clients we have is a large online content studio called Maker Studios. And they are basically they are the creme de creme of online content creation. They are now part of Disney. The way they are using us is to basically, how do you create better content? So we are basically enabling Maker to decide which content is connecting how with which audiences.
We actually can run the video. It just, you stop clicking for a moment and the gentleman will run it for you.
Okay, so Can I go through this and maybe I'll show it in the end?
Sure.
Yeah. So I think I skipped this particular slide. So just to summarize, so where we are having the initial beachhead customer segment is in the message testing market. So we are here in a market research conference, so we are very aware of what message testing is. So if you can generalize the focus groups and any kind of panels, panel testing, that's what we are saying. And even in that market, where we are first attacking is in the corporate message testing like Nissan and Maker Studios and studios, because we are based in LA, so we are working with a couple of studios and defining new use cases. So one of the things which is very interesting is when you create content, there are purists, so people who have been in Hollywood for the last 30, 40 years. If you tell them, I'm giving you analytics to improve your creation, they will basically scoff at you. But then there are a whole new generation of the next generation of millennial content creators who have grown up on YouTube. And they basically have grown up on YouTube analytics. So for them, getting this kind of real-time feedback on their ideas is very compelling. So that's the market. We are seeing some of that is changing even in the traditional industry like Hollywood as well. And we are addressing that. So this was a use case with Maker. So the way they use us is how does the content connect, and the metrics that we generate, they can actually use it to upsell their content to the brands that they're creating this content for. This particular test was done for a large cable competitor, and they were showing how this particular ad is much better emotionally connecting with millennial audience. So we are basically running this for a millennial demography. So I think to summarize, what we do is live emotion capture, giving quick and richer insights at a granular level. So this is also very important because we talked to a trailer company. So when you make trailers, the trailer making starts maybe 1 year before the movie is released. And the trailer guys who are creating this trailer, they spent weeks in creating one frame of a 30-second trailer. If the trailer is successful, sometimes they don't know what happened to that 1 week that they spent in one frame. So this is said by one of the trailer creators to us that your technology actually makes every frame count. So going to a granular level is very important. One other thing which we enable is, so as soon as you run the survey, we're actually tracking who in the survey of, say, 200 or 1,000 people, which one of them were closer to the ground truth and which one of them were outliers. So as soon as the survey finishes, we could provide you with the individual feedback of the outliers, and we can enable you to reach them back. So this is how the relevance to market research industry comes in. So again, this is the more how we are starting to define our pricing, but we'll be happy to have you guys come over and visit our booth, and maybe if there's time, we can show that 1-minute video.
All right. Do you need to skip there?
Go back?
I don't know where.
Right here.
Hi, we're Monet, a predictive analytics company that can quantitatively measure people's reactions by analyzing their facial expressions. Have a video you want opinions on? We can tell you what people really think of it without them ever having to say a word. Don't believe us? Give it a try. All it takes is turning on your webcam, and we'll measure your reactions while you watch a video on Monet's network. Results can be accumulated, analyzed, and reported within just a few hours. And our patented technology remembers repeat users to create a baseline of user reactions for each individual viewer. That means Monet knows when you are having an off day and can discard those results, creating increasingly accurate results. Monet's analysis tells you what people genuinely think of your video content without relying on faulty self-reporting and expensive focus groups. We combine viewer comments, survey answers, and raw frame-by-frame reactions to provide better feedback than any content testing source currently used today. Having fast, accurate results all in one place gives you more time to modify your content, and the cost savings you'll make by using Monet will give you the money to actually do it. So what are you waiting for? Try Monet today.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Unfortunately, we ran out of time for questions, but you know where to find him.
Yeah, so we are in that room, and we'll be happy to answer any questions, and thank you again.
Absolutely.